Why would I ever need to change? And again, I don't think women understand, like, guys success rate with women is not as much as women. So if I go out to a club and I get 2 numbers, I'm ecstatic. Like, my day is crazy. You could go to the club. You could walk out down a block and get 15 guys to try to approach you. So it's
mean, not always. Men don't really approach me. I'm so serious.
Okay, so they might not approach you. Yes, and we could talk about that too, because I think that's something that we're in now. I think a lot of men don't want to approach women, but I think that's because a lot of things that women have said over the years that have made guys like, nah, you know what, I'm good.
Okay.
But my whole point is that if the majority of women that I'm talking to, if I know that all I have to do is provide for you and make your life comfortable from a financial situation, that I can do anything I want, why the hell would I ever change? Why would any guy change? And I've heard this since I was a kid, and the expression is, don't chase the money. Don't chase women, chase the money. As soon as you get the money, women will come. And y'all have not proven me wrong yet.
Successful men don't want easygoing women. Hear me out. I keep seeing videos where everyone's saying successful men prefer easy women or easygoing women, submissive women. But from what I've noticed, that's not actually true. They prefer women who expand them. So I've recently come across a video explaining the research of Dr. Carol Dweck on growth mindset versus fixed mindset, where men with a growth mindset don't look for comfort, they look for development. So they'll be drawn to women who see their blind spots, challenge their thinking, hold them accountable, push them to evolve. Not because these women are demanding or difficult, but because they make them better. So men with a fixed mindset, on the other hand, prefer women that are more, or that make them feel more familiar. Something that's more easy. They want agreeable, they want comfortable, non-confrontational, because growth feels threatening when your identity is fragile. And so if you've ever been told that you're too direct, too intense, too much, good. I'm with you. That doesn't repel the right man. It repels the men that are not capable of growth. So stop shrinking to make yourself more palatable, because the right man doesn't want you smaller. He rises.
World will be a much better place if women shot their shot more. Now, granted, women do approach men. They do text first, right? But if they did it to the degree where they did that for every man that they've ever wanted, they would probably be in way more satisfactory relationships. Because a lot of what we see are relationships where somebody feels like they're settling. And when somebody feels like they're settling, they'll just start doing more that just kills the relationship either way. Now, technically, women do shoot their shot, but they do it in their own weird little way. Aside from the direct, like texting somebody first or actually contacting one person first, they do it in those subtle ways where you would never guess. Like, they look at you more than twice. They give you immense eye contact when you guys don't know each other. She puts herself in your vicinity, in your area, so she is available to talk to. She puts down her phone. She takes off her earbuds. It'd be indirect like that, right? We've all experienced the text first. We've all experienced the just hitting up first and those indirect signs. But if more women walked up to the men that they find attractive and they shot their shot, they would probably have a much happier dating life, because they would be 100% from, nope, they would be 90% from the field. I understand women do go up and approach men that they really want or that they find attractive, but they don't do it to the degree of men. If they did it more, I promise you, they would have satisfactory results. The crazy thing is, women are so used to it, they see that as a normal interaction. If they were to do that to a man, that would make a man's year, that would make a man's life. He would remember that for the rest of their life. That's not something you just forget, because that is rare for a man to experience. Men will remember that regardless of what the woman looks like. There have been some women that have approached me that I did not find attractive, that were not my type. And there were some that I actually did like, that I did find attractive. But no matter what, I never forgot any of those experiences. Why? Because it is more rare for that to happen to a man in real life than anywhere else. You remember that? for the rest of your life. Join the Discord. You guys have a great day, night, whenever you see this.
The data is pretty stark and clear. If you go into a morgue and there's 5 people, 4 are men. More women-owned homes, single women-owned homes in the U.S. than men. And by the way, we should do nothing to get in the way of that. If 1 in 3 men are in a relationship under the age of 30, 2 in 3 women under the age of 30 are in a relationship, and you think, well, that's mathematically impossible. Well, it's not, because women are dating older because they want more economically and emotionally viable men. There are now 1 in 7 men in the United States that are considered NEETs. They're neither in education, employed, or in training. So there was just this crazy stat, a couple crazy stats I've seen in the last week. Men between the ages of 20 and 30 are spending less time outside than prison inmates. And 45% of men 18 to 24 have never asked a woman out in person. So we're essentially producing, I would argue, or evolving a species of asocial, asexual males. And the gag reflex, which is understandable, is like, well, they should just get their act together. And women have had these problems for thousands of years. Why is your hair on fire now? And the knock-on effects are pretty severe for society, because if we're going to have an honest conversation around mating, I believe GDP, AI, podcasts, it's all a means. The ends is, I think, for most people, secure and loving households. I think that is where we find the most purpose, the most reward, the most happiness, is building a life with someone.
Women are purposely staying single because men aren't men anymore. So let's take some time to unpack this. Because the men that we were too insensitive, we were too sexist, we were too emotionally unavailable, we were too dangerous. But now that we're trying to grow and see ourselves beyond the identities of provider and protector, somehow we're not real men anymore. What is it that those same men that we've been trying to get away from, that you've been asking us to stop being, what is the difference between them and who we are today? Because we're starting to communicate a whole lot more. We're starting to practice emotional intelligence. And you know what's funny? As soon as we started talking and speaking far more honestly about how we feel, specifically about women, that's when the problem started. What men are expressing today is no different than what the men before us were feeling but never said. From what I'm gathering, as long as we kept it to ourselves, as long as we stayed quiet, everything was fine. I mean, it almost feels like another version of shut up and dribble. If my emotions don't matter unless you agree with them, you really don't value my emotions. There's no benefit to me being open and honest with you if every time that I open up, I'm gonna get punished for it. But let's keep the ball rolling. What if it's about money? Men are more comfortable having the 50-50 conversation than they used to be when it came to traditional roles. But I feel like we should understand by now that this economy demands a dual income household. So are we not real men because we don't want to shoulder the weight of all the finances in the relationship? Because if that's the case, what was the fight for when it came to equality and breaking the glass ceiling? I'll wrap it up like this. Don't try to say we're not real men because you don't benefit from us like you used to. If you don't want the men that we were, you also reject what men like that provided. Men aren't customizable. You don't get to pick and choose what we are and what you get. Women have to give men the opportunity to, 1, be themselves, but 2, they have to give themselves the opportunity to get to know the men that they ask for.
Here's my hot take, and it's probably going to piss a lot of you off. Men only want to be fed and left alone. And the reason that they get mad is because at least 1 of 3 of these things is not happening.
12 seconds later.
I'm laughing at myself because I just rewatched that video and wow. I'm too evolved for it, because in this moment, I am realizing that I have a lot of work to do around hating men. And who would thought that if I want men to respect me, I need to respect them as well.
Here's my hot take that might ruffle some feathers. She is only scratching the surface, and absolutely she's right in that she needs to do a ton of work at dismantling her hate for men. But it is not just that men need respect. Like, absolutely they need that. Like, I think that is a human decency, like, basic for anybody. But what the man needs that you're wanting to be in a relationship with is for you to understand men, for you to understand him. And that historically is what women struggle with the most, because what it takes from women is not always being right, taking accountability, saying I'm sorry, and putting the relationship needs beyond your own personal gain. That is what most women struggle with, even women that already respect men as a whole. Unfortunately, the men that come along and try to help her in the healing process, those are the guys that are like most likely the really good guys. They are genuine and they are patient and they are loyal. Unfortunately, those are the guys that end up getting the most hurt, and that is what's really messed up.
And I guess here's the thing for me, because I think Scott Galloway was talking about, you know, women are dating older men. But when you start to date an older man is more established. And so a lot of the foolishness that modern women be coming with, an older man don't have to stand for that. He does, like, he don't have to take that, because, you know, you're coming to me for a certain thing. You're coming to me because, you know, I'm good for it. And so when I tell you something, when I'm talking to you about something, I don't want to hear any nonsense. And that's what modern women are doing. They're going into these relationships talking to men as if they have the same level of experience. I can see if he was doing that with a guy that was around your same age, but y'all are going into relationships with guys that are 7, 8, 9 years your senior, and then thinking that you know just as much, if not more than them. Well, I was considered mature in high school, so I definitely have more experience, or as much experience, and I know more than him. No, you don't. You're not even close. I'm not going to get it right all the time, but I'm going to tell you, this is the way that we need to go. Because when I was your age and in your shoes, I did the same thing. And I'm telling you right, or I've seen friends do the same thing, and I've seen how it turns out for them. So instead of allowing me, or allowing you to do things that I know is not going to work, and it's probably going to hurt you more than it helps you, I'm telling you to go this way. But instead, modern women ruin it, and they find themselves back on the street because they think they know as much, if not more, than the man that is older than them.
Well, we know that no one hates women more than other women, and in a recent study that will be shocking to absolutely no one, the results showed that male students show more tolerance for their political enemies than females show for their own allies. That's right. In other words, women are meaner to people on their own side than men are to people who sit on the opposite side of an issue. Look at this chart. What do you notice? Well, there is no overlap between the genders. Being a man is what makes you more tolerant. That's literally it. So that's probably why when we get home and complain about that bitch Becky at work and the men in our lives don't seem to care, it's not that they don't care about us. They're just unbothered in their lane, moisturized, thriving. And in this specific study, men were 3.5 times more likely than women to be tolerant of someone they disagreed with. So basically, none of this is surprising, though I think the only people who will fight the results of this study are liberal women.
Half of Gen Z men no longer actively even trying to date. They're not even trying. And so the question is, well, why is that happening for women? Women, first off, are dating older. They want more economically and emotionally viable men, and that usually means older men. In addition, when young women are lonely, they have much better social networks. They have much stronger friend networks, whereas guys become kind of lone wolves and kind of literally sequester from everyone and everything. Half of Gen Z men.
Imagine millions and millions of people watching you get humiliated for content. Christy and Desmond Scott. Now Chris just filed for divorce from Desmond, citing infidelity within their marriage. But they would call their relationship goals. And I'm going to break down for you guys, and I got the receipts to prove it, the video documentation, the social media profiles to show that this is a disaster waiting to happen. Now, my analysis is less on the cheating component. We all know cheating is not right. It's immoral. It's against their vows. I don't think that masculine men should be lying. I think that masculine men should be forthright with what they want. And she does goofy things, and, you know, you could just see right there, bumps into him, and he's sitting there looking like, why am I doing this? And him in the background, t-shirt, looking confused, right? Like she didn't look at his photo at all in the selection of this thumbnail right here. But, you know, who cares about him? I'm the main character. Keep on going down. You'll see the next time that he's in it, kissing her feet while bending down and over, looking subservient. And I mean, why do photos like this have to reach public eyes? I don't know. Besides the branding of positioning her as main character, which many modern women want this branding for themselves.
This is option number 1.
It's a no. You can't even go sit nowhere like that.
What do you mean, babe? We can stand at the bar. You can sit and I can stand at the bar.
Next to you, Adam.
Why? You're not proud?
Why would I be?
What is it supposed to be like before the accident? I'm in a tornado for real.
I bet you behind closed doors, he don't act like this. But it's a character that has been created that he has to now maintain.
I think you look like a garden that got burnt. But it was beautiful. Makes sense?
A garden that got burnt?
It's black flower. I haven't seen a black flower.
But you know what was the most damaging part of this? When she grabbed his face for attempting to make a joke, looks at him like he's crazy, and then grabs his face.
A garden that got burnt?
It's black flower.
As he cowers underneath her and she smiles. Young men, listen to me when I say this. This is the type of content that they want. These are the type of relationships that they want of you. This is why I continue to say that the majority of modern women today are not marriageable, because this is their standard. This is their goals. This is what they want you to amount up to. They hate this side of the internet. They hate masculinity or manhood focused content. They hate when I say anything. They hated when a Kevin Samuels would say anything. That's why they love that because through his, it represented their gaining of power.
Y'all know that if a woman tells you that
Just another day in the office. View discretion's advised.
she acts different on liquor, and by different, you know what I mean, different. If she tells you that she acts different on liquor and you try to get her to drink liquor, you're a right? You know that, right? Yeah, you're
Sweetheart, close your mouth when you chew. The smacking of your gum is not making your mama look like she did a good job raising you. The statement is, if a woman tells you that she acts different on liquor and you try to get her to drink liquor, that makes you a... I think I only got one question. If you know you act different on liquor and you don't want to participate in your difference, why would you ever tell them? That's like me meeting a whole bunch of random women at a party and saying, yo, I love taking random women on shopping sprees when I drink. What do you think those women are going to do? I think there's a level of accountability that's not being addressed in this statement. Because yes, using someone's disadvantage to your advantage to get whatever it is that you want does make you a... But I'm trying to understand, why would anybody know that that is a disadvantage for them and openly share it? That's like handing a stranger your personal bank information thinking that they won't rob you. Yeah, technically they're a thief, but why would you ever put yourself in that kind of a position is what I'm trying to You know what, man, y'all get on here want to argue about nothing every day, man. And I'm tired of it. Fortunately for y'all, you ain't got to listen to what I'm saying, because I'm just a normal guy. Y'all keep the change.
And another reason is so many single dudes out here now, too, is because dudes are starting to realize, like, it's not much in it for me. And once dudes started realizing that, like, it's not much in it for them compared to, like, what they got to put out, compared to what they're getting back, they just like, nah, like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to entertain it. And once a lot of dudes stopped doing certain things for women where it was like, it wasn't too much in it for them, they wasn't getting like really no benefits from it, that's when women started saying, like, who gonna be the boys? And men used to go to war and all this type of stuff, you know, like, yeah, like, it's a different time period now. And like, for the dudes thinking like that, they just became more selective. Like, it's not even about not wanting to be in a relationship and stuff. It's like, you just become more selective now on who you spending your time on and who you dealing with, you know. And that's another reason why too, like, making pandering content is working so well, because there's so many dudes now where they're starting to come to the realization that a lot of stuff in relationships just isn't beneficial. The dudes that pander so much, it left that room to pander to women now, and they could just build an entire following and a cult behind that. But regardless, when it comes to like dating and relationships and shit, like, it's still subjective to each person, you know. Like, someone else might have better opportunities when it comes to dating and finding better men or better women, you know, but it's all subjective in the end.
She wants to wear the pants in the relationship, but she also wants a masculine man. She wants a man to lead, but villainizes him every time he does. If you want men to act masculine, you have to treat them like men. You can't lead every decision, control the relationship, and then wonder why you feel exhausted, irritated, and unsupported. Masculine men lead, they protect, they provide direction. But here's the issue: when men step into that role, many women villainize them. A man says, "Don't wear that tonight," and he's labeled controlling and insecure, when he's simply just protecting. A man says, "I'm not okay okay with your attitude and is called manipulative, when he's just being clear about his expectations. A man says, I don't tolerate disrespect, and suddenly he's a narcissist, when in reality, he's just practicing self-respect. This isn't oppression, this is just masculine leadership. Masculinity has been demonized so much that women want strong men but are not allowing strength. Control isn't femininity. It's wounded energy. It comes from fear, not power. If you don't trust a man to lead, that's a conversation to have, not a role to sabotage. You cannot emasculate a man and still expect him to show up as one. If you want a masculine partner, stop punishing masculine behavior and labeling it as these negative buzzwords, even when you're single. Let men lead, let men protect, and let them be men. Because what you honor grows and what you attack disappears.
Men like women who play hard to get, not those who chase after them. Or rather, men like women who are able to create a sense of alternation. You see, to make a man fall in love, what you need is to know which alternations are right, when to use them, and when to try them out. Obviously, also showing the other man within the relationship. For example, situations or moments when you are present for him, and situations or moments when you withdraw and pull back. This constant alternation will be the recipe for creating something solid in the long term. Yes, do you understand? Good. Because being predictable and letting yourself be seen as predictable won't get you anywhere. Men will take advantage of you because they'll take you for granted and put you on the same level as all the other women. If the perceived value you have and that you convey to others isn't high, and you do this through strategies, you won't make it. You'll be a victim of the waves, strongly discouraged. That's it. So very simply, if you want to know how to do it, we've created a free opportunity. To access my mind for 14 days, you can comment below with Ask FP. We'll give you free access so you can judge for yourself.
And I like what self-checkout was saying when he was talking about there's a level of accountability. I think that's what he was saying. There's a level of accountability that's not being talked about. There's a level of accountability that's not being addressed. And men keep on saying it. You guys keep on telling us we are not doing the right thing. We need to straighten up. We need to go above and beyond. And you got specific things that we need to do. Go to therapy. Do this. You need to be doing, and even beyond therapy, you need to go to a world-class, world-renowned therapist and pay a whole bunch of money for them to reset your brain. I think there was a little thing in South or Central American country somewhere where a woman was talking about, I think I saw somewhere, she paid $13,000 to reset her body count. These women, this is the type of stuff that women want you to spend your money on. Stupid stuff like that. And only then, when you do that and we can verify it, that you've done that, will we trust you. Men, if you just if you start going to therapy and you say, I go to therapy, and you start using words that you would hear in a therapist, you're going to start getting women. Because they don't vet men properly. So once you say, I have the credentials, if you go to school and get a bachelor's degree, and God knows, get a bachelor's degree in feminism. You're going to waste your money, but you're going to get girls. You can get these modern women that you're going to pull them. Oh, he cares about feminism. Well, I'd say, okay, do something that you can make money on. So maybe business, accounting, finance, something like that. Whatever the career is, computer science or whatever the career is. And he's like, yeah, I did my major in computer science, but I did my minor in women's studies and gender studies. And, I did like a quadruple major in, the beginnings of whatever female stuff. That's going to pull them. That's going to pull them every time. Right. So I went to therapy now. It don't matter if it was a therapist that cost you like $10, $10 every session, and you go once a month, and you in there for about 25 minutes every month. Just say you go to therapy. Just say, yeah, I did my minor in women's studies or gender studies or feminism, and I learned this. Or you don't really even have to do that. Don't spend the money. Find a book online or find a podcast and just kind of read the points enough to know, hey, this is what they're talking about. Shoot, if that's the case, we could just start a boot camp on that. We can start a boot camp on that. Hey, this is what these women want. Let's go ahead and give to them $5. $5. Men come in. If all you're trying to do is hook up with the woman, $5. Let's go ahead and get you the blueprint in. Let's get you some one-on-one training. When it's one-on-one training, you're gonna have to charge a little bit more, but let's go ahead and start. Let's just give them what they want. And you're gonna be swimming. You're gonna be swimming in women, and it's gonna be great if that's what you like, right? I mean, you're probably gonna get tired of it, but that's what they want. You go ahead and get what they want.
If a man has no friends, pay attention. If a man has no friends or only a very small circle, do not get it twisted. That is not a red flag. That is a man who has mastered himself.
Yeah.
A man without friends or with a very small circle is a very secure man. He has learned that quality matters more than quantity, and he does not need an audience to validate his worth. His confidence comes from inside, not from the approval of others. He is not afraid to be alone because he knows his own strength. He is very selective with his energy and with who he lets into his life, and that is a good quality to have. He walks away from drama and gossip because he has built a peaceful life for himself and does not want to let that go. He does not need to be surrounded by people to feel complete. He is comfortable, he is grounded, he is steady, and he does not waste time on meaningless relationships. He knows what he wants, and he does not waste time chasing things that do not matter. So if you come across a man with very few friends or a very small circle, do not underestimate him. That is not loneliness, that is discipline. He knows peace, it is not isolation, that is self-mastery. And men like that are the hardest ones to replace.
The most expensive type of woman is the one who's not going to ask you for money. She's not going to ask you to pay her bills. She's not going to ask you to fund her lifestyle. She's not going to ask you to pay her rent. She's not going to ask you for her money, for her nails, for her hair, none of that. And that is because she can do all of those things on her own. Women nowadays are more financially independent than ever before throughout history. Women who operate like this, they're looking for things that cost a lot more than money. They're looking for loyalty. They're looking for respect. They're looking for open communication. They're looking for reciprocity. They're looking for a man to match her energy, to see her eye to eye, and to be on her level. To a woman like that, money comes and goes and it's whatever because she already has it on her own. She ain't looking for that. She's looking for emotional stability. She's looking for loyalty, a masculine presence, and a man who's emotionally intelligent. She is not out here looking for a provider. You think she's looking for that. She's already her own provider and she's doing it well. So a woman like this is going to cost you a lot more than the woman who's asking you for money. She is looking for a man who matches her. Not her bank account, but her standards, her character, her vision, and her level of self-awareness.
It's not that he doesn't understand, it's that he doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't care. He understands what you're saying. He's not confused. He's choosing not to do it. Not because it's hard, not because you didn't explain it properly, because he doesn't give a fuck and he doesn't care about changing. And he knows it's going to frustrate you to the point where you actually just stop nagging him. What you need to accept is that it's not a lack of understanding, it's a lack of respect. He does not respect you. And yeah, some men stay with women that they don't even like because it benefits them. Because it's easier to have you there than to be all alone. It's convenient. It's comfortable. Especially if you're cooking and cleaning for him. Especially if he can beat you down emotionally so that over time, you just start accepting the little breadcrumbs he gives you. So every time he says, I don't understand, he does. He understands. He's acting confused. But what he's really doing is he's testing how much you will tolerate. Every time he plays that game of pretending to not understand, he's just asking you to lower your standards until they are literally on the floor. And if you stay, he'll keep doing it until the version of you who knew exactly what she deserved feels very, very far away. It's a pattern. It's manipulation. He knows exactly how to do the thing. He's not confused. He knows exactly what he's doing. He understands.
Do not marry someone that cannot give you the lifestyle that realistically you want. Especially if you want to have children, really think about the kind of life you want to give your children. If you marry a guy that cannot keep a job or really can't afford for you to ever stay home, why would you have children with that man? Because you might be thinking, oh, but I can earn money too. I am an attorney. I understand your thought process. Once you have children or get pregnant, you will realize pregnancy is so unpredictable. Birth is so unpredictable. Postpartum is so unpredictable. You can have very complicated medical issues that occur during those times. You want to be with someone that can provide during that time. And also, how insane that a man like cannot keep a job and provide a decent lifestyle, but you're birthing his children. That is very difficult. And a lot of women are like, but I already love him. And they get in their emotions. Like, and then you might be thinking, oh, but that's not romantic. If all you rely on is romance and emotion for the decision of who you marry, you are being extremely foolish. I do divorce and custody as an attorney, and I can tell you that's a quick way to ruin your life. Just base everything off of romance and feeling. Use logic, use wisdom. Be honest about the kind of life you think your future children deserve and the lifestyle that you actually want. I'm not saying only marry for lifestyle, also marry for values, someone that you enjoy, but you have to consider lifestyle.
The problem is that they want the guy to provide a lifestyle that they see on the internet. So the guy is able to pay for the birth, they're able to take care of the kids, but the women, they want more. They want more and more and more. Why? Because they go on social media and they see other women getting that. Making $100,000 a year is a good thing. You're able to take care of a lot with that, but they don't want that. They want 500,000, 1 million, 3 million, 10 million. They think that they should get everything that they see other people getting on social media.
What are your deal breakers that you just can't compromise on?
Deal breakers, trauma. Have you dealt with your trauma? Are you ready to move on? Some people are still stuck in the past, and I'm not the person for that. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Zoe. Why have you popped your balloon on Yaya?
So the reason why I popped my balloon was because he talked about trauma, and he's basically not the one to deal with anyone who has a traumatic past. Or I'm not saying I have a traumatic past, but I just feel like as a man, you know, you should be able to deal with any circumstances and have patience to be able to be like emotionally intelligent. You know, you never know what anyone's gone through, and I just felt that was a put off for me.
How you gonna blame him for you having unresolved trauma? He's saying you have to have gone through your therapy, worked on it with somebody, and have it at least partially healed before he come into your life. Why the f*** he should have to deal with trauma he ain't helped build? That don't even make sense to me. Why would he have to deal with trauma he didn't help create? She talking about as a man, you supposed to be able to handle everything. What the she talking about as a man? What his gender had to do with that? As a man, you got to deal with this trauma.
She has a point. I'm not arguing that. Yeah.
Do you want to elaborate on what you mean by the trauma?
So what I mean by that is most people are not ready to move on. They're still dealing with their past. And if you're stuck in the past, there's no future that you can build. And once you're ready, then you should move on. That's right.
Okay, but maybe perhaps some people need more time. So
I did mention patience. I said one of the qualities that I'm looking for is someone that is patient. So if I'm looking for that, that means I have patience.
Why is she saying you need patience? If somebody need more time to get over their trauma, why the f*** are you dating if what you've been through is such a... I don't understand. If you going through something, why you even worry about dating?
Okay.
However, if you're not ready to move on, and you haven't dealt with your own trauma. I've got my own trauma that I've dealt with.
Okay.
I feel like it's only fair that you meet someone that was also on the same level with you. It's easier. Yeah.
That's fair enough, and that's your preference, so.
Thank you.
One of the highest honors that a man can bestow onto a woman is the title of wife. Not every woman wants to be a wife, but they cannot become wives on their own. Somebody needs to ask, right? Now, on the other side of that, one of the highest honors that women can bestow onto men is the title of father. Not every man wants to be a father, but they cannot become fathers on their own. Now that we understand that both of these things are of very high value, ladies, I'm going to need us to raise our standards because I'm seeing a lot of kids and not a lot of engagement announcements. And that is never something I will advocate for, especially when that saga typically ends with you all coming online to complain to us that the father isn't doing enough, when in reality, he probably didn't want to become a father. And we know that he didn't want you to be his wife. So most of us don't want to hear it. Like, I don't. Y'all got to stop just trusting these men at their word that he said he was going to be around. If he really wanted to, he would have asked you to marry him. And we all know that, apparently, except for you.
How can you tell the difference between a good man and a player? Well,
Let me explain how. A good man will put his best foot forward at the beginning, and so will a player. They'll both appear to be wonderful, wonderful men at the beginning because they're trying to gain your trust. The way to distinguish a player and a good man is by setting boundaries and enforcing those boundaries. Because a good man will respect your boundaries. And when he doesn't get his way, he won't react with frustration or anger. A player will pull back. He'll become distant, or he'll disappear altogether because you aren't caving to his manipulations, his charm, his charisma, right? The fool's gold that he's putting in front of you to gain your trust. Instead, he'll go after other women who don't have boundaries, who don't have rules, who don't have structure. He may not call you for a week. He may not text you. He may disappear completely because you aren't giving him what he wants. He's not getting his way. Whereas a good man, when he's presented with boundaries and structures and rules to follow, he actually draws closer to you because he wants that connection.
But I guess my question to the lady talking about standards being on the floor, well, you know, he's going to keep on doing these things to you until over time he wears you down and your standards are on the floor. What standards are we talking about? What are your standards? If you're looking for a good man in terms of him being kind and being a gentleman, him being somebody with integrity and character, I feel like that's pretty easy to read. You don't need somebody to wear you down over time. If he's just being a jerk in all things, not just a section like or an area of his life, he's a jerk in everything, especially towards you. Pretty easy to read, right? I think for a lot of modern women, they will allow him to be a jerk if he's got the money. They're going to allow him to be a jerk if he's got the good looks, because that benefits me. I'm willing to allow this man to talk to me any kind of way, to treat me any kind of way, because it benefits my image. And the most important thing to a lot of these modern women is their image. So if you look at it like that, your standards are already on the floor to begin with.
Saying that men are choosing not to approach women is a real disrespect to what's happening right now in the actual world of reality. It's like saying to a man, you just didn't put your hand on the stove because you chose not to. Do you understand that the nervous system can only handle so much pain before it finally goes, okay, stop, we've done all we can, we're not going to let you do this anymore? Right now, approaching women for a lot of men just doesn't make any sense. Whatever the rules used to be, they didn't get the update. They didn't get Memo 6.0. And now everything they're doing continues to get worse and worse. Just understand, it's by and large not a lack of desire. It's just a defense mechanism at this point. It isn't choice. It's self-preservation. And then all the other excuses come out to make that choice seem a little bit more digestible. Go in the description, write the word upgrade. I have something free for you. If you're a single man and you're sick of it, I got somewhere where you could get started, and I hope it helps.
If a man is telling you he's not ready for a relationship, yet he wants to hang out with you all the time, he wants your body, he wants to be all in your face and all in your space, he wants your time and your energy, sweetie, he is using you. And as a woman, if you are willing to give all of yourself to a man who is not willing to take you serious and commit to you and truly value you as the woman that you know that you are, baby, you gotta love yourself more. The scary part is as long as you allow this man to have his way with you, girl, you will wake up, it'll be 5 years down the road. And you still in this same little situationship with this man. He's still telling you he ain't ready for a relationship. But it's like at that point, why would he even want a relationship? He's already reaping all the benefits of a relationship without the commitment, without the ring. Do not let these men use you. Be smart. Value yourself more. Somebody is out there pissed that every time they go to your page, they don't see no signs of weakness, failure, sadness.
Do all men think kindness is flirting? Oh my God.
Now I know what I'm about to say is going to be a truly radical idea, and there will be some out there that really do have difficulty wrapping their minds around this concept. But it is still not all men, imagine. However, I will say, in this case, there are some men out there who unfortunately do tend to mistake kindness for flirting. But if a person is wondering, how that could possibly be. How could a man mistake simple kindness or politeness or even a compliment for flirting? Well, the reason is actually very simple, if a person just takes a moment to think about it. How often do you think a man, outside of his immediate family, receives any sort of kindness or any kind of compliment at all from a woman who ultimately, well, doesn't want something?
It says a lot when a man is at peace and that said woman is no longer a part of his life. When a man reaches a point where he is calm and unbothered and distant from that woman, because that kind of peace does not happen overnight. Believe me, that's a man that went through frustrations, conversations, and effort. And then something in him shifted, and this is what women miss. When a man gets to that place, it is no longer anger, it's detachment. So now the things that used to matter to him does not hit the same. The arguing, the emotions, the tears, even the effort, it does not move him like it used to. Because mentally, he has already created distance. And once a man finds peace without you, he never will feel the need to go back to what disrupted it. And this is what women gotta understand. When a man feels better without you, it is over. He will never come back, no matter what you do. If you are a man that's currently in this state, bravo, my brother. I am so happy that you chose you.
If a man says he doesn't want a relationship, but then he starts doing boyfriend things and acting as though you guys are in a relationship, he is just testing you to see if you are willing to give him all of the benefits without the commitment. What he's saying is, I like what is here, but I don't like it enough to want to commit and do all the things that you want and need. But if you're willing to accept less than, I will keep showing up and taking what you're willing to give me. Do not be bamboozled by this. Do not try to be the girl who convinces the guy that she is worth the relationship. You don't want a man that you had to convince to be with you. You want the man who is trying to convince you to be with him. If moving forward, you are only going to deal with men who are willing to commit to you, I want you to comment commit in the comments.
Yo guys, as somebody who's been single for 8 years, literally my whole 20s, I'm gonna say this. I feel like I'm in a place where I'm so confident and in love with myself and what I believe in and how I portray myself. When it comes down to dating, like, I just don't want to settle. I just can't do it. I think I'm in that point where I have such high expectations about who I want to be with. And I know the next person I'm going to be with is someone I know I'm going to marry. So I'm just not in a rush to date someone just to date. I feel like a lot of people who are my age, who are about to turn 30, there's like a lot of pressure. Like, oh my God, I need to get a relationship right now. Like, I need to settle down. Like, I need to have kids soon. Like, all this stuff. And like, listen, we're in the age. Like, it isn't the 90s anymore. Like, you really got to make sure you settle down with the right person. You know who's actually you're going to settle down with and be with and be long term with, because that person can really dictate the rest of your life, the rest of your 30s, and, you know, whatever comes ahead. So, yeah, guys, just lock in. Lock in on yourself. Take your time to really love yourself and really understand, like, who you are and what you can offer someone and, you know, what you actually need in a relationship. So that's where I'm at. I'm about to turn 30 in a few months, and, like, I feel very blessed and very happy to be where I am today. So, love.
Let's talk about those lies we keep telling ourselves. You know, the ones when you're single and you tell yourself a lie like, there are no good men left. Well, girl, they're everywhere. You're just looking in the wrong places with the wrong mindset, probably. Lie number 2, I'm too busy for dating. Oh, really? But somehow you're not too busy for 6 hours of TikTok and stalking your ex's new girlfriend. Lie number 3, I have high standards. No, honey, you have walls. That's a big difference. Standards help you choose the right person. Walls keep everyone out. Lie number 4, the right man will accept me for who I am. Well, no, if you are a spoiled, entitled princess, no quality man will. So self-improvement isn't optional here. Lie number 5, I'm fine being single. Well, you're fine until you see a cute couple at brunch and you spiral down for days. So let's just get realistic. Here's the truth. Being honest with yourself is the first step to finding love. Stop lying to yourself, start getting real, and follow for more dating truths that will make you feel called out but you'll make progress. Follow for more.
Where you calling me from, sweetheart?
Michigan.
Michigan. How old are you?
I'm 27.
Okay, 27. You have any kids?
Yes, I do.
How many kids?
I have 4 kids.
You have 4 kids. How old are your 4 children?
I have a 10-year-old, and then I have an 8-year-old, and then I have a 4-year-old, and I have I gotta think how she's 6 months now. Yep. Okay.
But how many men, Nay?
Who are you talking to? What do you want? No, you said. Are you serious?
Yo, you just told me
Think about it. You told. Okay, sorry, because he was just saying he wanted to be single, and now that I'm out here looking for someone,
Why did you even on that anyway?
leave me alone. Like seriously, go back over there and cry like you was.
Yo, see what I'm
That's
talking
weird. So what was the question?
How you gonna tell me to? I could sit here and think about it, and then you sit here.
No, he always. So you know Kendra, you be watching her show?
It don't even matter. How do
you know Kendra's show? Wait a minute.
How did you
How did you know it was Kendra?
How did
you know it was Kendra?
I can hear her voice. I can hear the voice.
Kendra, don't you think that's a little suspicious that he just know your voice? That means that he be on here watching it, right?
Get off that shit.
Yeah. No, I gotta go. Thank you. No, come here.
Download the Kendra G Singles dating app now, available on iPhones and Android phones.
A lot of women date guys who don't have as much as them because they can be lazy, they can mistreat a guy, they can do whatever they want to do, and they can be the person that they are because they know that guy won't go anywhere because he can't go anywhere, and they do underhanded things to keep this guy boxed in. They drain you so much with drama, they drain you so much with gaslighting and nitpicking so that you don't even have the energy to get anywhere else financially. You understand what I'm saying? And then also women, a lot of the times the apartment being their name, and so every time you get into it, they kicking you out, they throwing you outside, they putting you out the car, all type of just damaging you emotionally. You see what I'm saying? And again, this one only goes for men who don't really have to together. That's why it's important that you have you together, so you don't have to deal with like this.
And modern women who are considered cute, they'll do the same thing. When somebody has told a modern woman, "Oh, you're pretty," it might not even really be all that true. But if they believe, "Oh, I'm all this, I'm cute, I'm this, I'm that," they'll still do the same thing with a man too, right? And it'll be a man that does, maybe he's got a few things that are kind of loose ends, but if they feel like they have to feel like they have the upper hand on you, and they'll treat you that way, even if you do have your stuff together, or you have a few things that you're still working on, but you're trending in the right direction. They'll treat you like that because they think, "Oh, I hold all the keys, I hold all the power, I'm his first baddie." They think that gives them a license to act silly, and they'll do it thinking that at some point in time, they'll do it thinking that you won't set a boundary. But a lot of these guys at some point in time do actually set a boundary, and they do actually end up leaving the relationship, or the relationship dissolves because he stopped doing the stuff that he used to do because you was acting like a loser.